Frank's boxes, and spirit radios. These are devices and methods that many believe allow us to hear the voices of the dead. Some say it's a bridge between our world and the afterlife. Others dismiss it as nothing more than noise, the mind playing tricks in the dark. But the stories keep coming. Real-life accounts of supernatural events involving EVPs are persistent, chilling, and often difficult to explain. You're watching Phantom Astronaut's Midnight Mystery School, where we explore the strange, the mysterious, and the unexplained. Before we journey into tonight's topic, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check the links in the description to find more ways to show your support and help this channel grow. Now let's dim the lights and listen closely, because tonight we're going to talk about something both fascinating and deeply unsettling: the phenomenon of voices from beyond the grave. Electronic voice phenomenon, or EVP. Why do these tales of ghostly communication endure? What is it about these voices that grips us, haunts us, even in the modern era? Let's start with the history of the phenomenon. The roots of EVP can be traced back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when the fascination with spiritualism was at its peak. People yearned to connect with their loved ones who had passed away. Seances, Ouija boards, and mediums became all the rage. But as technology advanced, so did the tools used to communicate with the other side. One of the first individuals to claim evidence of disembodied voices through recording devices was Friedrich Jürgensen, a Swedish filmmaker and painter. In 1959, while recording birdsong in the countryside, Jürgensen claimed he heard a faint voice on the playback, a voice that addressed him by name and mentioned topics related to his deceased relatives. Jürgensen was stunned. He hadn't heard any voices while recording, and yet, there it was. He went on to document countless other instances of these mysterious voices, and soon published a book on his findings, sparking interest in the paranormal community. Another pioneer, Konstantin Raudive, took Jürgensen's work further. Raudive recorded thousands of hours of audio, believing he was capturing the voices of the dead. His book, Breakthrough, published in 1971, introduced the term electronic voice phenomenon to the world and laid the foundation for countless investigations into supernatural communication through electronic devices. But what exactly is EVP? In simple terms, electronic voice phenomenon refers to unexplained sounds or voices that appear on audio recordings. These voices are often said to respond to questions, suggest knowledge of the living, or even provide warnings from beyond the grave. There are several types of EVPs. Some are faint, whispered, and barely audible, while others are clearer and seem to be direct responses. But are they real? Before we dive into some spine-chilling accounts, let's take a moment to reflect on why these stories have such staying power. Despite advances in science and skepticism in the modern world, the supernatural continues to captivate us. EVPs are particularly intriguing because they seem to provide tangible evidence of something beyond death. Proof, perhaps, of an afterlife. Shows like Ghost Hunters and Paranormal State have only fueled the fascination, with EVP sessions becoming a staple of paranormal investigations. There's something about hearing a voice that wasn't there when you recorded. But why do these stories stick with us? Is it because they give us hope that death isn't the end? Or do they feed our fear that something unknown, something malevolent, may be watching us from the shadows, waiting to be heard? While many EVPs can be explained away as interference or pareidolia, the brain's tendency to find patterns, like hearing familiar sounds in static, some recordings defy easy explanation. That's why people keep listening, and that's why stories like these endure. One of the most compelling examples of EVP occurred in 1974 during a paranormal investigation of an old farmhouse in Ohio. The team had been investigating reports of poltergeist activity and decided to conduct an EVP session. After asking a series of questions into the dark, silent house, they packed up and left, thinking they had gathered no evidence. However, upon reviewing the audio, they discovered a chilling message, a raspy voice saying, "I see you," followed by what sounded like a deep, unsettling growl. There was no one else in the house that night, and none of the investigators heard anything unusual in real time. What makes this case so disturbing is that the voice seemed to respond directly to one of the questions asked. Is anyone here with us? In the early 2000s, a man named Frank Sumption created what is now infamously known as Frank's Box. It was a device built to scan AM and FM radio frequencies, producing random noise and snippets of voices. According to Sumption, spirits could manipulate the radio waves to communicate in real time. One of the most chilling accounts involving Frank's Box came from a paranormal investigator who reported hearing his deceased father's voice during a session. The voice, unmistakably familiar, addressed the investigator by his childhood nickname, something no one else could have known. Frank's Box, and other spirit radios like it, quickly became staples in paranormal investigations. Skeptics argue that the voices heard through these devices are nothing more than fragments of radio broadcasts stitched together by coincidence. Yet, those who've experienced direct personal messages are not so easily convinced. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado is famous for its ghostly inhabitants, inspiring Stephen King's The Shining. In one particular investigation, a team set up an EVP session in the infamous Room 217, where numerous guests had reported hearing the sounds of children giggling and running through the halls. What they captured was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. A faint, childlike voice could be heard clearly on the recording, whispering, "Come play with us," followed by eerie laughter. Despite the hotel being empty during the investigation, the sounds persisted. This EVP account has been widely shared and analyzed by paranormal enthusiasts, but no clear explanation has ever been given. Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia is notorious for its dark history and reported hauntings. In one investigation, a team conducting an EVP session near the old isolation cells received a terrifying response. Upon asking, "Do you have a message for us?" the recording revealed a harsh voice warning, "Get out now." The tone was so aggressive that the team decided to cut the session short. None of them had heard the voice in the moment, yet it was unmistakable on the playback. Was it a trapped spirit or just radio interference? Perhaps one of the most unsettling EVP stories comes from a couple in Texas who, after experiencing strange occurrences in their home, set up a recorder in their living room overnight. They had hoped to capture evidence of what they thought might be a rodent problem. Instead, they caught something far more sinister. In the early hours of the morning, a female voice could be heard whispering, "Get out," followed by a soft, malicious laugh. What makes this case so eerie is that the couple was fast asleep in the house when the recording was made, and no one else was present. So, what do you think? Are these recordings truly the voices of the dead? Or are they merely fragments of sound our minds interpret as something more? As always, I encourage you to weigh the evidence for yourself. Listen closely and ask yourself, what do you believe? Thank you for watching Phantom Astronaut's Midnight Mystery School. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow. And check the links in the description for more ways to support. This has been Phantom Astronaut's Midnight Mystery School, and I will see you out there.